your name. Good evening, Ghana. Welcome to Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Lexis Bill. I look forward to Thursday evenings, and I'm sure you do as well. Well, this is where we get to host amazing people who are doing so much for Ghana, the motherland, and they deserve to be celebrated. This evening, I have one such guest, one such brother who's really amazing. His field is quite an interesting one, and there are so many things that I personally would want to find out from that particular field. Well, we get to live his journey. We get to understand how he works. We get to understand what drives him and what motivates him, and all of that as much as we can within the next hour. So, thank you so much for choosing this dial. Remember, we're live on Facebook as well, so you can actually go check out the live video so you can join in and see my guest who's looking very buff. Honestly, I need to take some gym trips, with him so I can also look as buff, to be honest. But I spend time with an industrious brother. Yeah. He's a sports and exercise medicine physician, and his vast experience in the field makes him highly sought after in Ghana and, of course, across the African continent. For over a decade, in addition to being an attending physician, that's a medical doctor at the Civil Service Polyclinic in Accra, and conducting pre-competition medical assessment for soccer teams in Ghana, he also attends to both elite and recreational athletes presenting with sports-related injuries. He's a member of the medical committee of the Ghana Football Association, and in this role, he plans and conducts pre-competition medical assessment and provides pitch-side emergency services as well. He's also played a role of team doctor for a number of the national soccer teams and performs his duty with excellence, of course. He's a member of the medical committee of Confederation of African Football, CAF, and as a doping control officer as well, a DCO. Yeah, he's one of the most influential names in sports across the continent. Yeah. He's a great man. Literally, I can put it like that. Dr. Pampoe is my guest on Personality Profile here on Joy FM. Welcome, Doc.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing?
Very well. You're looking good.
And you're looking better, I gotta be honest with you. Very lovely fitting suit, and it actually shows the humongous muscles you'll be working on.
No, I knew I was coming on your show, so yesterday I think I did a bit of extra work.
You had to get the dumbbells in. One of these days we need to go to the gym together and
you invited to our beautiful gym in Parliament.
In the Parliament House.
Exactly.
No, I'd love
Feel
to come
free.
through.
My instructors are super.
What's your fitness regime like? Because you're a fitness person.
Yeah, so I try to do most days of the week.
Okay.
Knowing that I will not be able to do most days of the week, so I try to put that as a target. So Monday, Tuesday, probably would miss some Wednesdays. You probably have to be in church to pray. Thursday, Fridays, I don't gym at all. Friday, it's the day I was born. So then Saturday morning. So typically I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. I try to get like 4 days of the week.
I see.
And I'll do anything between 45 to 1 hour. I can't do beyond 1 hour in the gym.
Oh, I see.
Probably the first 25 minutes on a treadmill or cross trainer. Yeah. Then the rest will be to go play with the little metals.
Oh dear.
So basically,
it's a candy store when we see the weights, isn't it?
People enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it can be difficult sometimes.
It is difficult.
Yes, but of course you can stay motivated, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff. In fact, you inspire me. I'll tell you what. For the past year or two, I've actually been doing more cardio and playing more tennis.
Great.
So my weight resistance has dropped.
Yep.
Significantly.
I mean, so as you, I don't want to use the word as you age, you might probably feel I'm trying to tell you aging, but of course I'm seeing a bit of gray, just like mine coming through.
Please.
Yeah, but
my gray is the economy.
So as the years kind of roll in,
it's
the natural thing to do. You drop the weights and then probably go up a bit on cardio. Because your joints aren't that easy to move. Like, I mean, they used to be. They are not as lubricated as they will be if you are young.
Yeah.
So if you do too many weights, you probably end up with like osteoarthritis.
Yeah.
As you age. So you probably will do lighter weight, more reps.
More reps,
You know,
okay,
and
okay.
just to keep the muscles well toned.
Okay.
And the medical bit is that once you get them well toned and staying well, then you fight things like diabetes and all of that.
Okay.
I'm not sure this session has to be too medical. If not,
Well, no, I'm loving it already because I was just going to say that we're
Yeah.
having a whole lecture on fitness and medicine.
Yeah,
But
basically.
I didn't bring you here to be in work mood.
exactly. Exactly.
So just take it easy.
Yeah, of course. But
Yeah.
I mean, speaking about fitness, promoting physical
Yeah.
activity happens to be one of the things I really, really love.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
I mean, the specialty area is sports and exercise medicine.
Yes.
Okay, so I've told people that the sports medicine probably puts money in your pocket.
Yeah.
And the exercise medicine you give back to society.
Absolutely.
And we say exercise is medicine. So because as we age, that's when we probably are likely to be getting these non-communicable diseases, which are
Yeah.
age-related. So my cardio will take care of my hypertension. My weights will take care of my diabetes.
Yeah.
And probably the combination of eating good food, not good food, eating healthy food, probably will take you there. Plus, of course, prayer at the end of the day.
Absolutely, that's also very important.
Yes,
I'm
extremely.
really glad that you mentioned that because I know you're very religious and I've seen you in church a couple times.
Okay,
So
you
that's-
tell us what you came to my church to
Calm
do.
down, calm down. I can explain.
Yes.
Okay, so I know you're a very busy man. I think last week thereabouts you were all the way in Qatar. Are you preparing for the World Cup? What's been keeping you busy lately?
Right. So I think when I'm told I'm busy, I try to think, because it's probably become part of schedules now. So somebody calls you and the question is, are you in Ghana?
Yes.
Because 90% of the time they probably get to hear no.
Yeah.
And when you say yes, it's more of a surprise. So from what you read, the various roles I play do take me around a bit. I'm either working for the parliamentary service of the country that can keep you in town and probably take you out sometimes as well.
Okay.
I work for Confederation African Football that would take you around the continent. I do work also for FIFA within the doping control settings that can take you out a bit. The Ghana Football Association also, I mean, I've worked with most of the national teams. I think almost all the national teams currently with the senior Black Star side. So that also takes you out a bit, So the recent Doha travels had to do with the FIFA medical work, which had to do with workshop for various team doctors who are coming to Qatar for the World Cup. So there are new things in medical practice or in football medicine. So we needed to group together as doctors to acquaint ourselves with the latest trends and what's expected of team doctors coming for. I mean, you're dealing with superstars, so you need to stay sharp.
I mean, you have one of the very interesting jobs. I mean, you work with what we call the stars of our passion, the footballers, and then as well, you work with, of course, the parliamentary service as well, our parliamentarian. You work the best of both worlds, literally.
Okay,
And,
I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah, is it different from working with we the common floor members?
So I think you read about my work at the Civil Service Polyclinic.
Yeah.
So and probably 80% of my clients come from the Osu community. So I work with the ordinary persons as well, to be honest. So yes, so it's I think the word to use is probably I work within very controversial settings. I've had my name in the media, probably 90% good, but there are some 10% you read about yourself that really is me. So that's.
Do you recall any of those that you read and you're like, nah, this is wrong?
So one had to do with. I think the very early one had to do with some work within the football setting, some medical information, certain things about some players,
Yeah.
you know, and it's that kind of information you can't come out to defend it.
To defend.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because in you coming out to defend it, you are probably giving out
Personal
medical
information.
information, you
Yeah.
know, but you probably kind of feel like you want to correct the wrong. And I think that's what the media does right and well. You know, they know that let's put half of the story there. He'll be forced to come and then say the
something.
truth.
Yeah.
But in our case, you can't do that. I think one of the very challenging ones had to do with expressing an opinion during the COVID time. And that opinion actually was in quotes against a direction that an organization you work for would want to move, you know, then you become a bit of a problem. And of course, you know about COVID, and when COVID came, the number of MPs who tested positive,
Yeah.
and Joy FM wants me to speak and mention names of positive MPs. And
Now you're throwing shots.
no, that's the truth, because you know. So those are the things that come with the controversies, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, within the football set, and those are the controversies as well. So yes, I mean, if you sign up for that, then you probably have to work towards that,
Yeah.
you know. So if, in quotes, the ordinary doctor can go scot-free with certain lapses, you cannot go scot-free with that. So I've told people over and over again, if you really want to expose yourself and probably drop your job, then you should attempt doing football medicine, because your practice is on the pitch and you have millions of people. There probably will be tens of thousands watching you from the stadium,
Yeah.
and then you have several millions watching you globally, and there's a player that you are going and everybody's marking. The cardiologists are watching, the orthopedic surgeons are watching, everybody's watching. They know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, you get there, the way you even put your bag down and take up something out, it's not up to it. You come, sometimes you check your messages and people are throwing shots, you know. So
Wow.
it's but you sign for it, and I think it comes with a paycheck as well. So you need to balance the equation.
That balances the equation, you know. Because I was going to ask that. Look, you're working with $1 million legs.
Yeah.
Footballers whose legs, I don't know, some probably have insured their legs for millions of dollars and all of that. And you need to be very meticulous about, you know, handling these injuries and little knocks that they get and all of that. So you can't make a mistake.
Yeah, you dare not. And if you do make a mistake, it will come back to you. And the point is, especially if I take these players, I mean, top class football, they've been exposed to top class doctors as well.
Yeah.
So they know that when I had a similar knock, the doctor in Europe, when he came, this is how he held my knee, and this is how he moved it. So when you go and you hold it and you do something different, they know you're not up to it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's intense, you know, and but it's pleasurable, you know what I mean? Because whether in Europe, in US, in Ghana, I mean, we learn from the same school. So you just have to keep updating yourself, you know, and make sure that you are up to it. Because if you slip, it's a big deal.
You say it's pleasurable. What do you enjoy about your job?
Sitting down and knowing that this person had an injury 3 weeks ago, and myself and my team, to be honest, because I always work with the physiotherapist, the massage therapist, and any other person, sometimes orthopedic surgeons, and then knowing that, okay, so I played a role in ensuring that this gentleman is on the pitch and play. And sometimes a player you have worked on so much, if he scores a goal or he makes an assist and he runs towards the bench, there are times you see players hugging certain people. You know, there's a communication. You know, some come and they hug their coaches so much. Maybe at a point the player was down and the coach told him that, you know what, I'm going to put you in this game and you're going to perform. And then they go out and perform. Or sometimes they pass through the medical room. They probably were not too sure. You worked on them and said, look, you make it. He scores a goal, he's looking for the doctor. Those are the things that makes you happy. Or just sitting down and knowing that, hey, look, these superstars, they are mine to take care of. You know, that makes you happy. as well.
What
That's a
don't you
pressure.
What don't you enjoy about your job?
What I don't enjoy about my job is a build up to a good tournament, and you are unsure what you'll be faced with, and I'm on my coaches today, and you feel your coaches are overusing, in quotes, your players,
Your players.
because as a medic, yours is to protect them.
Yeah.
So if a doctor had his own way, in fact, the players will not even train,
Okay.
because they will only get injuries if they train or
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
You know, so when you kind of don't get a good understanding with your coach,
Yeah.
then it becomes a bit tricky.
Okay.
All right. Or when you sense that people are not going to be truthful with you with their injury status, that is also a difficulty. Or on the other side, if you sense that there could be a way that your professionalism could be compromised, that is also a challenge. Plus
Okay.
the fact that your practice is on the pitch and everybody's marking you.
Dr. Prince Bampoe is my guest on Personality Profile here this evening. If you have any questions or you want to say anything to him, you can actually send me a WhatsApp message on 055 Now, is this what you always wanted to do as a young person?
No. I mean, so if most of my mates, I'm sure, would be listening and watching, I think when it came up that, okay, the guy has gone to do sports medicine, most people who knew me were very surprised, because I wasn't even a sportsman in school. No. I don't think I have played any sensible football before. I mean, I'm the last of 9 kids, and I have all sisters.
Are you serious?
So, I mean, in growing up, I've always been a boys prefect.
Calm down, calm down. Slow down there, slow down.
Exactly. I have only sisters.
Only sisters.
And I'm the last child. Okay, so who
now
who
I
are you
know-
going to even play football with?
I know. Wait, hold on. I know what was happening. I know what was happening in your family. This brother is like, okay, first shot, girl. Okay, let's try again for a boy.
Exactly.
Okay, then another girl. 3, 4, 5, 6,
Exactly.
7.
That's what my dad
Hey!
did. Yes. And I almost went through that line, because I did 1, 2, 3 girls. And I told my wife, you know what, let's stop
It's okay.
it. So no, you try, you get a boy. I said, no, I know what my mom did, my dad did. So please. So currently in my house, I'm still a boys prefect.
Oh my goodness, this is just beautiful.
Yeah, you know,
Hey!
so I jokingly tell people that probably wouldn't have known how to handle a boy if
Yeah.
God gave me one, because I mean, when it comes to handling girls, as in sisters,
Yeah.
girls, and daughters, girls, I'm an expert because I grew up with them. So sport really wasn't my thing, you know, growing up, you know. But then things kind of just changed.
So what was your thing?
Doctor, OBGY, that's it.
Ah.
Obstetrics gynae. That was what I thought I was
When
going
you
to do.
were a child, what dream job did you have? What was it you wanted to be when you
Doctor.
grew up? A
Doctor.
doctor. You had
Doctor.
always that.
Yes.
Yes, but
It's
you didn't think you'd get into the sports medicine. of
no, no. I didn't even know there was anything like that, to be honest.
it. I see.
I mean, so the time I was a child going, there was no sports medicine.
Yeah.
So the specialty sports medicine is really not very old.
Ah.
It's relatively new. So if we talk about medical specialties, it's one of the new ones.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Okay.
and I think in this country, I probably was the second person who did it.
Wow.
Yes. So as at the time I was going out to do sports medicine, there had been only one person who had gone to do it and come back. I didn't even know. You know, I came back before I
Before
knew.
you knew that
Yes,
was
because
somebody who did
I
it.
think when he came back, there was no room for sports medicine practice. You know,
Yeah.
so he just found it somewhere to
Look,
practice. Yeah.
let's get to know you a bit more, because you have a very interesting family setup. And I'm quite curious, you know, to know the lessons you grew up in the house full of very lovely girls, 8 girls, and this last baby who will be totally overpampered, I'm very sure, by these wonderful
Ah.
women. Where are you from, for starters, and where did you grow up?
So I'm from the northern part of the country. So now I would say the Savannah region.
Yeah.
So 100% northerner, if we should put it that way, Bole Bamboy side of town. I come from a city. It used to be a village, now a city called Jama. It's Jama.
Okay.
You know, so, but I was born in Sunyani. Daddy was working in Sunyani, and later he had to be snatched back home to become a chief.
Okay.
And so I was back there. So my education, my everything started from a village.
Okay.
You know, so I'm a very typical village guy.
Yeah.
I keep telling people the first time I saw light, electricity, I was old enough to put it on myself. You know, so I'm really not as privileged as you, who grew in yeah. Anyway,
How do you know this?
you know, so the basics, I mean, basic examinations and all that we learned with things like lantern and all that, you know. So that has been, but of course it was a beautiful childhood, because like you said, I mean, you were the son of the chief, so the village, you could have whatever you wanted, you know. Mommy was there, daddy was there, I mean, sisters were there, so really I wouldn't say I struggled as a growing up child. And by the time I was coming up, my sisters were probably well placed as well, so they moved.
What are they into?
So I have a sister who is an auditor. I have a sister who is fashion designing. I have a sister who is a teacher. So they're in the US, in UK, a few of them in Ghana as well.
Okay.
So I mean, so they were not doing bad, you know. So at least hard enough to take care decently of a younger brother at any level of education he wanted to. All I needed to do was to learn. Basically, and so through that went through secondary level education.
And where?
In Tamale, so
Tamale.
a school called St. Charles Minor Seminary. So I didn't really attend secondary school. I attended a minor seminary. Plan was to from there go through a major seminary and become a Roman father, you know, and I didn't think it was right. No, I think, I mean,
I was waiting for that.
yeah, but daddy is a chief, his only son. I mean, and we inherit, I mean, patrilineal, so you don't want to lose that, you know, so, yes.
So because of that, you rid God of his servant.
I remember the then Archbishop of Tamale visited our school, and normally they will come and sell the seminary career to you, the Roman fathership career, as a final year students, and they kind of target the top students, you know, and they kind of invited us. Okay, so I mean, I was one of the people who was very open. No, I don't want to become a Roman father, man. And you needed to explain. I said, really? I mean, how can I explain that? You know, I mean, I know what I feel. So,
what were you feeling?
No, I mean, I thought it was cool to share home with, I mean, my sisters, but this time not biological sisters, you know. So, or I thought God had put it on me to take care of somebody's daughter.
They found the wrong client.
Yeah.
After seeing the beauty of the women in the house.
Exactly.
I mean,
you know. So and so that was second cycle education.
Okay.
I mean, it was that beautiful from St. Charles. Then, of course, to KNUST to do medicine, basically. You know, so the entry into university was when, of course, you needed to take a decision. Now my sisters were showing up. You know, it's okay. Why do you want to do medicine? We feel you should do pharmacy. It's one of the tough decisions at some point I needed to take. Yes, because I had this sister who was a nurse. You know, and that time she said pharmacists had more money than doctors.
Okay.
So I should go do pharmacy.
Okay.
And I said, no. I mean, I just want to do medicine. So the decision was that I wanted to go to KNUST. I didn't want Legon. And she said, okay, if you're going to KNUST, then go and do pharmacy. If you want to do medicine, then you have to attend Legon. You know, so it was a very bad combination for me.
Wow.
Because I want to do medicine and I don't want to Legon.
Yeah.
You know, so I just had to perform well to the extent that
So you decided now that you're going to do medicine
yes,
and not pharmacy.
and not pharmacy.
Why that one?
I just couldn't find myself doing pharmacy. I didn't like it.
At
I didn't
that-
really understand it to start with.
Okay.
Yes.
At that point, did you still have the obs and gynae?
Yeah, I mean, I
Dream?
knew Dr. OBGY. That was supposed to be the route.
Okay.
Yes.
Did the fact that you had sisters influence your decision to want to be OBGY?
No, I just thought that they were busy, and I still think that OBGY doctors are very busy.
Okay.
Of course, women, pregnancies, so many things, you know. So I that was the passion, really, you know. But I think midway medical school, I mean, that mind changed, to be
Okay.
honest. So
Okay.
then that mind was really toward trauma emergency kind of practice, you know. I mean, mind you, as at that time, I still didn't know much about sports medicine,
sports
you know.
medicine, okay.
So I feel the trauma emergency practice still sits well
Yeah.
because that's what I really do now within the sports medicine practice, you
Okay,
know. Yeah,
okay.
so
So your,
that
so your
has-
sisters didn't succeed in making you shift from medicine to pharmacy?
No,
they didn't.
no. Because so when I had to attend my medical school interview in Kumasi, I mean, my sisters couldn't be boarded. You know, I say, okay.
But what are some of the things your sisters succeeded in making you do? I mean, growing up in a home with sisters must
Right.
be a lot exciting.
So-
How was it like? Share with us.
So things they haven't communicated, but then things I picked. Okay, you know, girls, they will go out, they will come back. The same person, I probably see this person pick them up. The person drops them. They come home, and the things they're saying about the person. So really, you know, so did this guy just lose money? You know, so I think what it did for me was that so growing up, if I came close to you as a lady, it's difficult for me to take your word for it,
Oh,
you know.
right.
So if I came to pick you out, I did that because I want to have my own fun, but not to impress you.
Not to impress you.
Because
okay.
my sisters got me to know that it's not possible to impress.
Ah,
They choose to impress themselves, and they know what they want.
okay.
So that helped me a lot, and it probably got me never disappointed by what, I mean, anybody from that side of town would do, really.
I see.
So because whatever you do, I've had like 8 of them around growing up, you know, and they all come from different constituencies, you know, so you know how the
They
dynamics
all
play.
operate.
So if there's one thing they succeeded in getting me do was to stay that focus,
Yeah.
and probably selfishly pay a lot more attention to myself than to whoever I feel is close to me, you know. So that's it.
Would you have preferred it the other way around? Because it looks like because of them, you probably were able to crack the code very early.
I think what I had was a perfect thing for me. I don't know how I would have fared with big brothers, to be honest.
You know, a lot of the brothers would have would have loved to be in your shoes because they would understand a lot of things a little earlier. Some of us wouldn't have messed up.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So,
I see. But
yeah.
aside that, what else made it exciting to be with girls?
So the fact that you don't do anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, mommy will not call you to pound for food. Mommy will not call you to sweep. Mommy will not. You don't wash your own things. There were too many helps, you know. So I think that was also a nice one. Honestly, it's so what saved me was the fact that I attended a Catholic school where discipline was quite strict. If not,
Okay.
if I had gone through the mill with all those things, I probably would have turned out to be something else.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah. So what it has done to me now is that apart from heating water to prepare tea or coffee for myself, I'm unable to do anything meaningful. Which is a shame, though.
Interesting.
You know, so
Interesting.
the interesting thing, yes, growing up with sisters is the fact that you don't do anything.
Anyway, Now you went through your medicine. You now decided to major in
Medicine.
sports medicine,
Yeah, and a bit of cardiology.
and cardiology as well.
Yeah.
Wow. And you worked in Ghana mostly?
Yes, basically. So right after med school, um, I, I I I combined so many things whilst in med school. So med school wasn't the most interesting thing for me, to be honest. I wanted to enjoy a lot of life whilst in med school, and to combine that with all your books, then you really would have to work extra hard,
Yeah.
So right after med school, I said, okay, yes, I probably want to continue every bit of my further education and career development outside Ghana,
Okay.
because I kind of didn't really like how our system was that rigid. So, um, 2008, 2009, then I got the opportunity, fully funded program to go to sports medicine in Nottingham, UK.
Okay.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
Did that, came back to Ghana 2011, 2012. So that's when it all started.
Yes.
And then along the line, I had to also take up a PhD program in sports cardiology, which has to do with the hearts of soccer players, because
Yeah.
they have very different hearts from what I have, what you have.
Oh, okay.
And the heart of the African player
Mhm.
is also different from the heart of the American or the European player. So
What, our hearts look like cones?
so the physical activity puts a lot of pressure on the heart. I mean, as you do your cardio, as you do your weights and all of that, you realize you are breathing a lot more. The heart has to pump much more, push a lot more blood around, so
Yeah.
that oxygen will be evenly distributed well. So for sportsmen and women who actively do this a lot of times, the left side of the heart, where the duty to push blood to the rest of the body lies, with the left ventricle, begins to put extra muscle. So it's like you doing dumbbells.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
the more that side is pushing, then it has to put on a bit more muscle. Okay, so the typical sports people would normally have what we call left ventricular hypertrophy, which would be a thickening of the left ventricle or the walls.
Yes.
Okay. Mine might be slightly thick also because of activity. Yours might be, but for the ordinary sedentary person, they wouldn't have it that way.
Okay.
All right. And between the sports, the African sportsman and, let's say, the German, okay, there'll be difference because they don't put on that much muscle.
Okay.
All right. Ours are thicker. And even within Africa, the East Africans will have a slightly different adaptation.
Wow.
To exactly. So that's what makes this practice very interesting.
It is.
You know what
It
I mean?
sounds very
So
interesting.
people are walking, people are running on the pitch, people are probably doing the same thing, but they come with different things. So it was another study I did in Germany, and
Good stuff.
finished that.
So we know footballers get varying degrees of injury. I mean, we've heard of torn ACLs,
Yeah.
pulling hamstrings, even broken legs and all. I remember watching one of my favorite Chelsea strikers, Dembaba,
Yeah.
break a leg in a,
Yeah.
in a game.
That's right.
And I was really saddened by that. Some of these require months of rehabilitation,
Yeah.
sometimes even years. What kind of injuries are these?
All right. So if you want to categorize sports injuries, so you would have the fractures, which will have to do with the bones, and then you would have the soft tissue injuries. So the soft tissue injuries would have to be injuries to the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, and all that. Those are the structures. And of course, within the various joints, you would have things like meniscus, which are like cartilages,
Okay.
and all that. So those would be the broader categories of injuries, and then the number of months that a player would have to sit out to go through rehab would depend on which tissue is damaged, and then the extent or the grade of the injury. I mean, of course, one of the injuries we don't like in sports is the ACL tear.
Yeah.
Okay, of course, which also is quite very common in soccer as well, and then of course basketball, hockey, you see a lot of it because it's a cruciate ligament, anterior cruciate ligament, sat right there within the knee, which allows them to do the twist and turns and the move.
Yeah.
And also, if you have your leg in any awkward position and maybe another player kind of whacks in there, then you kind of tear this. And depending on the extent of the tear, you have to either be surgically repaired or do your rehabs. And
so some have been able to return to full fitness. Luke Shaw, I think he suffered a broken leg some years back.
Yeah.
But he got back into action.
That's right.
Somewhat like himself.
Yes. Yeah.
Is it always the case that you'll be able to return to full fitness at these very high degrees of injury, or you will never be the same?
So what we always say is dependent on the level of the injury. For instance, if you tore an ACL and then had a surgical reconstruction of that ACL, I mean, no doctor will tell you that you are coming back to your original 100%. If your mind will not even allow you to do that, because now you are very conscious of the fact that you have a defect. Okay, but of course, anyone watching will know that you are playing the way you play. So to answer straight, yes, we are able to return players back to normal to do what they've been doing. Of course, one of the easiest injuries to handle are the broken bones, to be honest. I mean, they would probably take an average of 4-6 weeks to heal. I mean, and once it's healed, it healed well. I mean, you are good to go. So
I see. What's the most serious case you've encountered?
An ACL rupture.
An ACL, that's the most serious.
Yeah, ACL rupture. And then normally when you have that total ACL rupture, then it comes with rupture of another ligament and a meniscus tear.
Okay.
All right. So then it becomes a triad, and it becomes quite difficult in the sense that it's a shame. You probably needed that player for some very crucial assignments.
Yeah.
And in our setting, sometimes it kind of means a career ending for the player, especially if he's slightly advanced in age and depending on the club he plays for, because some clubs are not really, they don't care much about these players. I mean, so if you have to sit out for like 9 months, especially if you play within our local league, by the time you're coming back, you probably have been forgotten.
Oh dear.
Which is a shame.
Nicholas Tete from Gulf City KK Boutique sends a message and says, my question is, how emotional does he feel when an injury looks beyond repair?
Yeah, so I think that's where we just landed. First of all, it's about the age of the player. So recently there's been an under 17 tournament recently that was played in Cape Coast, and one young player had an injury, and it happened that this injury is an ACL tear. That's a shame. I mean, I know he will come back, but it's very difficult to communicate career-ending injuries to players, because that's the whole life of this person. He's probably not done a lot of school. He's probably not saved enough money. He's not learned carpentry or mechanic, so you are literally telling the person that is the end of the road. It's quite difficult.
So I know one of the areas that you really find great interest in is age verification. It's very common to find players who say they are 23 and then you realize they are 32. I think I remember seeing a post from one of the African countries. They said a player was celebrating his 25th birthday, but his twin brother was celebrating his 35th.
35, yes.
Tell me about that part of life.
Yeah, so I did mention I'm a doping control officer, MRI expert in age issues. Now, so we call something age cheating, all right, which is a form of doping. Soccer or football believes in fair play and fairness. So if we are competing within an age category 17, let's keep it 17. And I've always insisted on that. So I've told people, okay, if your chap, it's so good, he comes through the age verification process, and it happens that the person is more, then of course I just recommend let the person go play under 20. All right. So yes, we use the MRI machines to be able to determine whether somebody is truly under 17 or older than that. And I mean, it gets sometimes quite embarrassing when you probably have to dissolve an entire team. I've had the unpleasant task of sending a whole country home from an under 17 tournament before.
Wow.
Yes, but I think from like 8, 7 years ago till now, we've actually taken that upon ourselves to make sure that the right people would come to tournaments with the right ages. And
Okay.
we've done a lot of work in this area.
If you're just joining us, Dr. Prince Bampoe is amazing. I've totally enjoyed this story. If you have any questions for him, you can send us a WhatsApp on 055 We're live on Facebook as well. You can actually drop your comments in there, and would read it out for you. So you also your work also involves pitch side emergency medical services, and you are telling me how you put your your bag down when
Yeah.
there's an emergency and all of that,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
counts and all.
Yeah.
Is there some special training you need, for that particular role?
Yes. So, like I said, we just came from Doha, and it was one of the things we did. So there are two things we normally don't want to see: sudden cardiac arrest, and I'm sure we've all seen players suddenly collapse on a pitch and die before. And we also have concussion, which is head injuries. All right. So now, if you don't have the right technique, if you don't have the right expertise, your ability to use the defibrillators and all that, okay, and to be able to intervene within the first 4 minutes of such emergencies on the pitch, you probably might be losing a player. So you sit there, and I mean, really, broken bones, torn ligaments are not the worry. All right. But when there's a player who goes down, non-contact collapse, all right, it can be very scary. That is hundreds of millions of dollars lying there, probably a whole community dependent on that life. And now it's up to you to make sure the guy comes back to life. So you need to go knowing exactly what to do. So, I mean, kind of like twice a year, you need major training to stay abreast. And the protocols change, I mean, almost every time.
Wow.
So it's an interesting one. That is if you know what to do.
What to do.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What drives you, Doc?
So, I think a lot of people pretend when this question is asked, what drives you? Money drives me a lot.
Okay.
You surprised?
No, I'm not
Because,
actually.
yeah, because whatever you do and earn money, that's good,
Yeah.
right? So then the main thing that would drive any doctor will be the fact that you save lives. So that is a major drive, okay? And of course, the money will come following that. So for me, that really it's the biggest drive. And yeah,
Has this job made you rich?
yes, as a doctor, yes, yes, and but probably to openly say that we do so many other things that probably gives us more money, which people would not see,
Okay.
which you were not trained for, so there's something new in town we call smart medicine,
Okay.
functional medicine, and that's the kind of medicine I feel I practice. So-
What is that?
So smart medicine is to identify gaps within the healthcare system and then provide solutions. Okay, so there was COVID, all right, and we saw that, okay, as a doctor, we didn't know much about COVID. I'm not an infectious disease consultant. My friend Oliver Comey and Co are the consultants. There was no football going on, so really I'm not going to be very needed as a doctor during COVID because there wouldn't be much to do. So what do? I should probably find solutions and to help the doctors do. Then we came up with a COVID testing. All right, so I've been involved in coming up with laboratories that tested for COVID and supplying some logistics
Okay.
for some medical works, both in Ghana, in Nigeria. All right, and so that is what we call smart medicine.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
so
I
there's a
see.
mining company that needs medical support. Okay, so get the right links and then offer them medical support. That's smart medicine.
Sounds like marketing as well.
Exactly, that's what I mean. I mean, so my friends,
Yeah.
90% of my friends are not doctors because I tell doctors, what you have, I have. I don't need much from you. I need a lot of things from those guys who went through business school
Yeah.
where I wouldn't go waste my time. But I know a few doctors who have gone to do that. So those ones are my friends. They are not my friends because they are doctors. They are my friends because they have the business ideas.
Oh dear.
And then a few people with a few dollars to spare. So I come and tell you, it's okay, you have dollar here, bring it, let's do this.
Oh my goodness.
And
yeah.
it works. And I
I
do
mean, I should
farming
have-
as well. So
You do farming too?
yes, I do cashew farming.
I see.
Yes.
You know, I think we should start a program again. Because I got the description wrong. He's not a doctor. No, he's a
it's
businessman. He's a full-fledged businessman.
It's part of what we call smart medicine,
Yeah,
functional
yeah.
medicine. Yeah.
No, I'm totally inspired by your story, and I'm sure it's going to challenge a lot of minds this evening, as well. I think a couple of days back, we were having a conversation about how much we can take on, and I think that sometimes we underestimate our own power.
Yeah.
We underestimate the time we have,
Yeah.
and the things we can do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. It's if you don't fill your space with relevant things, irrelevant things would fit in well, and you would consider that life. So I have people ask, how are you able to manage? I said, but that's just part of what I do. So all I need to do is just wake up, go through the motions, get home and sleep. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets overwhelming. You are getting phone calls from farm manager, you are getting phone calls from other sides of the world where you have other businesses. I mean, the economy in Nigeria, Kenya is a bother to you because you have some things happening there. Probably you're thinking about their economy more than your own country, Ghana, because you're going to throw a few dollars there. Yeah, but I think in all this, keeping the right people within your circles is a key thing.
there you go.
Keeping the right people within your circles, it's always the key thing.
Okay.
They would always they get your back most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah.
Yes, and you move.
Look, you've dropped just so many nuggets tonight, and I am so happy that we got to have this conversation.
Thank
God
you.
bless you so much. If you have any advice for people who look up to you, what would it be?
So for people, I hope, I mean, there's someone who looks up to me, but if anyone looks up to me, what I would say is get to know God well, get to hear from God what he wants you to do. If you get this locked, then just go. Just keep pushing and leave the rest to him.
Yeah.
It will definitely happen.
I'm happy you actually ended on the God note, because I need to make the confession, of course. I went to his church to find a wife.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So thanks to him and Kolibu community,
That's right.
I have a wife.
That's right. And it's the best place you could pick one, honestly.
Yes,
Yes, we
yes.
have
So-
trained them well.
Oh, that's
Yes,
good.
we have trained them
I
well.
can agree.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. It's
Thank
not
you so
trouble free
much.
though. But thank you so much for having me.
I'm really grateful that you made
Right.
time for us, your
Pleasure.
personality profile. God bless you so much.
Thank
and
you.
we'll see a lot more of you as well. We're following the amazing things that you're doing as well.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
My name is Lexis Bill, and this evening I've been spending time with Dr. Prince Bampoe. Oh man, the video for this conversation is on our Facebook page. If you missed any part of it, go check it out. You really love this conversation. Share it with your friends and your family in the WhatsApp groups and whatnot, and let them also enjoy this conversation. Thank you so much on behalf of my team. We're grateful. God willing, tomorrow at 3 o'clock we'll be back on your radio with more on Joy 99.7 FM.